much for coming. This is amazing. This is what you really call success. You guys are successful. This event is successful. Please start off by giving ourselves a round of applause. Whoa. How this has grown. It is amazing. Everyone, we're sitting here now talking about, and so what are we going to do next year? Well, next year, I think we're busting at the seams here at the Rialto Senior Center, and we're going to probably end up having to go to another venue, but it will stay in the city of Rialto. Oh, wow. Of course, for those of you who may not know me, I am Councilmember Deborah Robertson, and I am the one who initially started the State of the Women event with the help of our mayor, another former council member, Winnie Hansen, who could not be with us today, and a whole host of other people, including our city clerk, Ms. Barbara McGee, and now in the last couple of times, the National Council of Negro Women. This activity is just growing. I do want to say, though, that one of the ladies who had also helped me very early in the beginning, because this started out as a discussion about health and some awareness. We became aware of women were having high numbers and a lot of different health issues, yet and still we weren't talking about it. And at the time, it was heart disease, obesity, strokes, and HIV and AIDS. And one of the trailblazers on HIV and AIDS, she unfortunately passed away February 19th, but I would like to make sure that we close this event and this conference in memory of Mrs. Patricia Lee, who was founder and CEO of Brothers and Sisters in Action, and she was a tireless advocate for HIV and AIDS in the San Bernardino County as well as throughout the region. So, thank you. So without any further ado, I would like to take the opportunity to start off by calling our mayor up to come up and give the welcome. Ms. Vargas, as you all know, she has been somewhat under weather and ill, but she makes it a point to never, ever miss the State of the Women event in her city, the city of Rialto. So give Mayor Grace Vargas a round of applause.
Thank you, Deborah. Good morning, everybody. How's everyone? How's everybody this morning? Isn't it nicer than yesterday? Yeah. You know, God gave us this day because we all knew you guys were coming. That's why. You know, like Deborah said, you know, seeing all of you makes me feel good, makes my day, because I've been missing out a lot. But, you know, I do want to welcome to this 6th annual, the State of the Women's Empowerment. You know, this means that us women are getting somewhere, isn't it? Doesn't it feel great? Look who's here. You know, we have the supervisor, you know, Josie Gonzalez. We have our Senator Gloria Negrete, you know, and then we have our city administrator, the new city administrator here. Plus, we have Amina Carter here, our assemblywoman. You know, I just love all of you. You guys have really climbed the ladder, you know, and you're proof to all of us that we women can do it. Yes. You know, we stick together, and let me tell you, look at Wilma, where she's at, you know, a school named after her, you know, and she's an assembly person. She's done a lot of good things for Rialto. Well, then we have our senator, you know, she's been a senator for a while. She's an inspirational to me also. And then we have my friend Josie Gonzalez. I just admire her also. And then we have our council member, Deborah Robertson. She's always doing something for us. She's always doing something for us women. And then we have also, Joanne. Where are you, Joanne? Joanne, she's another great woman, you know, that does a lot for the Rialto children at the school level. You know, so we have a lot of great women in this room. And I want to welcome you because I feel good. I feel good this morning to see all of you here and to see so much empowerment here, especially at my table, you know. You know, they say I'm the mayor and this and that, but you know, it's not as great as being as higher level as these women. they're doing it for us. And I'm so proud of them and that they're here with us all the time, Josie and our senator, that, when we invite them for anything, they're here to support us. So I value that, and I'm very proud of all of us that we're here today. So again, welcome, enjoy yourself, get all the information you want to get about the women empowerment, feel great about it. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce you to our own city administrator, Mike Story. Mike, if you want to say a couple of words, Mike, and then do your thing. Remember, you're among women.
Well, good morning. As the mayor mentioned, I'm Mike Story, the city administrator for the city of Rialto, and I consider it a real privilege and honor to be here this morning at the State of the Women event regarding women's empowerment and things. And just the privilege to be the man that can get up and talk here amongst all these women. Normally I'm pretty confident in getting up in front and speaking to people, and I was able to see Supervisor Gonzalez the other night speak at the State of the County in front of about 1,500 people, and she did such a great job there. My knees get so weak when I stand before women in all this case and things like that, so it makes it a little bit more difficult. But the point is that I wanted to come out as I've worked for the city for 27 years. I've lived in the community for over 30 years. The main thing, I've been given the great opportunity to serve. The council has given me the privilege to serve as its city administrator. And what I've been able to do is begin to develop a new team of executive members that are going to lead this city entering a new second century of progress and as we move forward. And some of them are here this morning. I'd like to introduce them real quick here. And if you, over to my right, my left, your right, and things. I've gone over to the far side, over on the tables over here. First off, I've got with us this morning is our new Fire Chief, Matt Freitas. Matt, would you stand up? Very good. Our new Police Chief, Chief Tony Farrar. And our new Administrative and Community Services Director, George Harris. Some of the other team members couldn't be with us. Rob Steele, the assistant, my assistant, as well as the Director of Development Services. But there's so many other staff people that are here this morning. And I've got Gina, and I've got Kathy and Cindy, and and all these great people in here that aren't department heads, but they're such an important key to what make this community happen. Katie Nickel, there's just so many important people that are just making this community move forward, along with your help. And I can't go a moment without acknowledging the person that really is the strength in my life, and the person that really provides me the encouragement each and every day, not only to do my job and just to walk in life, is my wife Janet, who I've been married to for 34 years, right up here. She's the one that's much better at this than I am. I'm a real problem solver and like to just dig in and do those types of things, but she's the one that really stands behind me. And it is my conscience to say, you know what, Mike, you did a great job at that. You know what? You did a really bad thing there. You need to go back and fix that. Okay, she is the conscience with what I'm doing, and a real encouragement, and the one that really empowers me to do my job. So thank you for allowing me to come out this morning, and I look forward to serving this community and serving this council in a great way. And once again, the other person that I'm not going to forget, and someone's going to introduce it before, but I'm going to do it. Barbara. Where's Barbara? Barbara McGee, our city clerk. She's part of my team, or I'm part of her team. I can't figure it out sometimes, which team I'm on, hers or mine. But you know what? The main thing is there's nobody more committed to this community than Barbara and making things happen and do things right for this community. So I want to thank her for along with Councilmember Robertson and all the people involved in putting on this event and everything. But she's the real help also to this community too. But thank you for allowing me to come out this morning.
Thank you, Mike. Yes, Barbara is definitely, although Barbara is an elected official, elected by the citizens of Rialto, she also serves as a department head in the city of Rialto over management services, and so very much a part of the team. Before I make introductions of other people in the audience, I would like to call upon Angela Miles. She was with us last year. Angela, where are you? I know it take a little while. Oh, come on up. She is with a House of Prayer Gospel Outreach Ministry, and I'm asking Angela to come up and lead us in invocation. I know you have to make.
If you don't mind, can we have everyone please stand? And let us bow our heads. Lord, we come to you this morning, thanking you and honoring you for this day that you have made. Thanking you for the opportunity to come together for this 6th annual State of the Women, Women's Education and Women's Empowerment. We thank you for the strength, the unity, and the foundation that you have set up before us. For all those that are in this room, God, and for all those who wanted to come and didn't have the opportunity to be here, we thank you for strength, we thank you for prosperity, and we thank you for the movement of women, even as we encourage one another to encourage others that are around us. We thank you for a successful event on today, and that everyone's hearts and lives may be touched by those that are around us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. Okay, I know that people are still coming in, although the room does look pretty well solid here, but folks are coming in. I'm going to take an opportunity. I think the mayor made some introductions. I hope that I have a couple of cards here of people who are in the audience that we would like to acknowledge. If I somehow miss you, please don't take that as a personal affront to you. It's just that we've been moving so, and if I don't acknowledge you now, I will throughout the course of the program. But acknowledging and starting off, before I acknowledge some of our electeds, I think I would like to also, because I tend to forget, take the opportunity to acknowledge my family who is here, who has been with me on all of these activities. The one person who is not here is my mother today. She's fine. She's in San Diego. She wanted to come, but we didn't want her to make the journey up this time. But I would like to acknowledge my daughter, Malele Robertson, my granddaughter, who I think a lot of you know, Charlie Harris, graduate of Eisenhower, student at Cal State Dominguez Hill, and a special acknowledgement of one of my nieces. I have 3, but I'm going to acknowledge this one as well, and this is Miss Tahara. We call her Nikki Cotton, a business owner. Thank you guys for coming. And I would like to, as we said, again, one more time, acknowledge that we have our senator in the office, in the audience, Senator Gloria Negrete-McLeod. Please stand. Our Assembly Member Representative Wilmer Amina Carter, please. Our supervisor, who represents the 5th District, but also has the great honor of being the chair of the San Bernardino County Board of Supervisors, Ms. Josie Gonzalez. A great honor. And then, as we said earlier, president of our Rialto School Board, Unified School Board, and that is Ms. Joanne Gilbert. And then I believe, hopefully she's in the room in the audience, Dr. Rita Ramirez-Dean. She is trustee on the Copper Mountain College Board. And of course, Ms. Fran Gibbons, who is our senior assembly member for California's senior legislator. Fran, where are you? There you are, there. Here representing our Congressmember Joe Baca's office is Vanessa Racco. Thank you, Vanessa. And then that's the ones I have for the moment. So again, like I said, I know we are expecting others, but as they come in, if I miss someone, you know, if you put up a hand, let me know. Somebody would. I'm sorry. Oh, a city clerk, Barbara McGee, elected official, 3 times. And I am sorry, one other one, and our city treasurer, who I know is a business person here. Where is Mr. Ed Rialto? Sorry, I thought I saw one of my colleagues. I don't know if he stepped in and stepped out. Is Councilmember Ed Palmer here? I thought I saw him earlier. No. Okay. Well, he may still be outside. Today, we're going to move through the program because we have a couple of people who we would like to have opportunity for Q&A and then other people to present. So I am going to ask that where is she? Miss Cheryl Brown, who is the representative for Wilma Amina Carter's office, come up, and she will be doing the introductions of our keynote speaker. And Cheryl's doing the introductions because it was so kind that we knew that we had asked Miss Lee to be a speaker at another event, and then we found that we had 2 speakers, and so we offered that she come to our women's event, and she was gracious enough to accept that offer. So I will ask Cheryl to come up and introduce the keynote speaker. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity of being able to introduce this wonderful, most exciting person that has come into our lives. And I say that because Ms. Carter is just absolutely sold on Darcel Lee. For most of her life, Brenda Darcel Lee was known by another name. Her name is part of the story. Darcel, as she's commonly called, has had healthcare, policy, legislative, and leadership experience. She has worked various managerial positions. She established and managed her own company, and in 2005 made the calculated decision to return to both the nonprofit and the healthcare environments. She used that experience to work with the board of the California Black Health Network to focus on the organization's efforts of policy, advocacy, and regulatory issues that particularly impact California's African American community. She has been the executive director of the California Black Health Network since 2010, and this is the rest of her story. Her name was Brenda Darcel Harris. 2010 was the year that changed her life. She not only became the executive director of the California Black Health Network, but she married her soulmate. Listen to this, ladies. After being single for 26 years, she found love on Match.com. Her story is interesting. She calls it God's intervention. On the day she was trying to take down her profile on Match.com, because she had just given up, the computer had a glitch, and she couldn't remove it. In the process, her husband-to-be was trying to cancel his subscription as well. But as fate would have it, they connected. They dated for a year, and in May of 2010, they were married. Now, there's a little bit more. Her husband lived in another state, and he moved lock, stock, and barrel to California. And in honor of Yusef Lee's commitment to Darcel, she took his name and became Mrs. Yusef Lee and hasn't looked back. And in the process, there was a bonus. He had 3 adult sons, and they adopted Darcel as their mom and made her a grandmother of, I think, 6 children. And if you're ready, and if ladies are ready, if the gentlemen in the room are ready, and if Deborah is ready, I would like to present to you the guest speaker, Mrs. Brenda Darcell Lee, speaker of this wonderful State of the Women event.
Be careful with your step. Do you want me to move this back so we can try to make sure you see it? Yes. Can you get in here? Let me let you see. I'll be in that tall. I put my timer so I can stay on top. We're just trying to move this back so that everyone
can
will be able
see.
to see the screen, so let's see.
Can everyone see okay over here? Okay. Good afternoon. I just want to say thank you. Thank you, Cheryl, so much for that introduction. You know, she called me and she said she wanted some personal information, and we got to talking and I got kind of chatty. I didn't know she was going to tell it all. But I am so excited to be here, so happy to have this opportunity, and I want to just acknowledge and thank Assembly Member Wilma Carter for asking me to do this. Thank you so much. She is one of my favorite people. We're just getting to know each other well, but I truly admire her, and you are so blessed to have her here as your representative. Thank you. Okay, is that a little better? Okay. And I certainly want to acknowledge your mayor. I just got to chat with her briefly this morning, but you also have a wonderful mayor, and you are so blessed to have her as well to lead the city of Rialto, which is making a dent in California. I'm telling you, you guys are on the ball here. Thank you, Miss Madam Mayor. And of course, I must acknowledge a longtime old friend, although I had to remind her, Senator McLeod. She is just so special. I met her almost 5 years ago when I was working with the California Special Districts Association. And she was always so gracious to be speaker for us, to represent our needs. She is one woman who does what she says she's going to do, and she has not forgotten where she's come from. She's a blessing. And then I'm just getting to know your chair of the Board of Supervisors. Such a gracious lady. It's so nice to have met you, and I hope we do get to know one another better as well. And I want you to just congratulate yourselves. I mean, a room full of a rainbow of beautiful women to come out on Saturday morning. It's wonderful. And last but not least, I do have to acknowledge my handsome husband. We both know how blessed we are, and our story is special, and we do believe that God intervened, because he was in New York, I was in California, and we really weren't desperate, but it just kind of happened, and it has been wonderful. We met in May of 2010, as she said, and in 2011 we were married, had a beautiful wedding, and his family is now mine. I had no children, now I have 3 and 6 grandchildren. It is fantastic. I love you. We try to support one another all the time. Last week we were at events where he was doing spoken word and poetry, because he has published a poetry book. And so we try to support one another and give each other as much love as possible, because we know that in this day and age that's important, and all about well-being and health and family means that you support your loved ones and you interact with them as often and spend as much time with them as often as you can. So we're talking today about California's women building healthy communities, and I thought that this would be a good title to work in with your theme, the state of women in California. As director of the California Black Health Network, and I don't know, how many of you know about the California Black Health Network? Not too many, that's what I thought. I don't have a lot of time, so I'm going to talk fast, and I'm going to cover a lot in a few minutes. California Black Health Network is really an organization that's over 30 years old. But in 2008, the organization was kind of refocused, stopped functioning,
to structure, and in 2010 I was brought on as the executive director to kind of change the focus of the organization, which is now policy and advocacy. We are based in Sacramento, California, and we have been building relationships with organizations throughout the state, organizations like the California Black Women's Health Project and Great Beginnings for Black Babies, and a number of other organizations across the state, all the way from San Diego to Sacramento, that represent the needs and the health concerns of African Americans in this state. It's unfortunate, but, and I'm going to go through some statistics in a few minutes, our community has the worst statistics of any ethnic group in the state. And I'm going to go through some of those statistics in a little while, but that's why it's so important that an organization like ours connect with people like you, with elected officials, and that we begin to do what's necessary to change some of our own behaviors so that we can change the statistics both in disease and in death. You know, I also, as I looked at your program and I studied your website and I looked at the history of this event itself, I noticed that you always incorporate the history of what's gone on with women and some of the background information that deals with education, with healthcare, with business. So I want to just go a little bit backwards and tell you a little history about women and health. We have always, and I'm speaking particularly to African American women because that's what I do, but this is true of all women, I believe, and I hope you won't turn out that you'll listen to this because I think that you can relate to a lot of what I'm about to say to you. Whoops. The health of a nation is reflected in the health of its women. This quote came from my husband last night. As we were talking about what I was going to say, he said, you know, when you look at a nation, women are always the leaders. And in this nation in particular, it seems like it's the women that are rising to the top. Although we're often quietly in the background and we're pushing for change, it is women who make the biggest difference because we are the head of our families. I think about my grandmother. We called her Mama Moore, my mother's mother. My grandmother was a midwife in Texas. Years and years and years ago. This was in the early 1900s, and she didn't have a formal education. She had common sense, and she had that you know what I'm talking about. She had that God-given sense. She just knew what to do. My grandmother could mix together some herbs out of the yard or off the farm, and she could heal everything from heart disease to cuts and scratches to female problems. I mean, it was amazing. She had a God-given gift. And she was the caretaker of our family. She died at 96 years old about 10 years ago. She was amazing. Well, there was another woman that I don't know if many of you know about. Her name was Mary Eliza Mahaney. She was the first Black professional nurse. And in 1909, get this, 1909, this woman stepped on the stage at a conference in Boston, and never having spoken in public before, she started a movement to end discrimination against Black nurses. An incredible human being. And she was able to change the mindsets of many, many people about the care that Black nurses could give because she was willing to take that chance and step forward. And then, how many of you have ever heard of Dr. Rebecca Lee Crumbler? Really? Good, good. I see a few hands. We've just named an award, and we're giving an award to Dr. Barbara Staggers at the end of this month, called the Rebecca Lee Crumbler Award, because she was the first African American woman to receive a medical degree. And we're so proud of her and her accomplishments. She actually left her practice in Boston right after the Civil War, and she moved to Richmond, Virginia, so that she could provide services to all of the newly freed slaves. An incredible individual. Yes. So our history has always been to be caretakers, to build healthy communities, to do what we needed to do for our own. But something's happened. Something has happened, and it's not good. Look at these statistics. Some of these statistics apply to all women, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit more about African American women. 51% of our state's population, that's 17 million women, 17 million people are women and girls. 3 million Californians live in poverty. 3 million Californians. I see women in Sacramento on the street. It's really sad, and I see them more now than ever before since we've had so many economic problems. 60% of those of the 3 million are women. 21% of black women in California live below the federal poverty line. 21%. We have some of the worst statistics, as I mentioned. 47% of black women versus 31% of white women have hypertension, which leads to heart disease, which leads to stroke. Black women have the highest pregnancy-related mortality of any individual, and we now have, of any ethnicity. We now have data to prove that African American women are treated differently by white doctors in their offices during their prenatal care than white women are, which leads to infant mortality. And there's data that's been done, published by the CDC and some of the universities to prove this. Heart disease is the leading cause of death in black women. There are lots more statistics that I don't have time to go over now, but this is one of the worst. I don't know if you know what's happening right here in Southern California, but AIDS is killing our children. And there's a community health center called THE Clinic over in South Central LA, where they are seeing girls coming in at the ages of 9 and 10 that are already HIV positive. It is pathetic. It is sad. It is scary. And they're telling them that oral sex is not sex, and so they don't need any protection. It's very sad. Oh, and by the way, I showed this picture to a couple people, even my husband. They thought this was abuse. This isn't abuse, this is AIDS. There are women, though, that are empowered, that are moving forward, and are making a difference. This is one doctor, and I always say her name incorrectly. It's Elsima Fergus, who is the head of cardiology at Harlem Hospital. This woman is researching the link between hypertension and heart disease and trying to come up with strategies, preventative strategies, to change our statistics. Dr. Patricia Bath was the very first African American physician at UCLA. She has come up with a tool called let me see if I can say this correctly, laser phasoprobe. Laser phasoprobe. Doctor, where's my doctor here? Am I saying that right?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. So laser phasoprobe, which eliminates cataracts in those who are about to go blind, cataract lenses. She founded the American Institute for the Prevention of Blindness, and she's known all over the world. But how many of us know about her? So there are women who are making a difference. I have lots of others that I could tell you about. But I want to say today, because I don't have a lot of time, what I want to focus on today is how we can make a difference, what we can do to make history. It's our time. It's your turn, each one of you. You have people right here in your own backyards who are making a difference. You have leaders, but you know what? Each one of you can be a leader. Each one of you can do something to make a difference and to change the statistics that I've just shared with you. We can build healthy communities. Together we can start a movement for building healthy African American communities. But you know what? I think we build all communities of color across the board. And one of the ways that we can start is by supporting the Affordable Care Act. Now, you know, there's a lot of information out there. A lot of information out there that is misinformation about this act. Y'all, I'm gonna tell you something. President Obama has done what nobody else has been able to do since Social Security was passed, okay? This is one of the best things that could ever happen to the people of the United States of America. If you don't know what's in the act, then you cannot tell me that it's bad. If you haven't read it, then you cannot tell me that it's no good. I'm telling you, I have read this from cover to cover. Now, I'm not going to tell you I understand every piece of it, but one thing I do know, I know that almost 6 million people in this state come 2014 are going to have health care coverage that they never had before. I also know that on March 23rd, we will celebrate the second year of the Act's enactment, and I know that it's before the Supreme Court. But I also know that it's going to be a hard hill up if they do it legally. Hello. If they do it legally, it will be a hard road up to try to rescind what has already been passed. Now, let me tell you why this act is a good thing. First of all, the ACA, as it's known, expands coverage, health insurance for the underinsured and for those who have no insurance. And that's good. And the reason that's good is because it's going to reduce cost. It shifts from treating a disease to looking at having a focus on prevention. And that's something we haven't seen before. There are incentives in this act that will incentivize providers to provide preventative care, and it incentivizes individuals to get preventative care. That's what we need to look at, is not just treating the disease itself, but trying to prevent the disease in the first place. You know, I'm my own worst enemy. I love to come home late and snack on ice cream and apple pie, okay? I love me some cashew nuts, and I can eat a whole bag of them in one sitting. And I know you can tell. I don't like to get up at 5:30 in the morning and go to the gym, although I know it's good for me. And my husband and I, we get lazy and we don't walk as much as we should, even though we live in a beautiful area where we can walk along the water. But we have to do these things. In our churches, we have to begin to stop having fried chicken and collard greens and cornbread after church service, okay? And maybe we have some fruit and we have something healthy, some baked fish, because we are eating ourselves into oblivion and causing our own health problems. We've got to change. There's a church in Sacramento, California, Dr. Lovelace's church, where he has prohibited the types of foods that we love from being served on Sunday afternoon, and his wife is headed up and spearheaded a walkathon on the weekends for the members of their church. And they have seen a significant decrease in hypertension, heart disease, and obesity. Mrs. Obama is on the right track. We got to get up and we got to move. This act also prohibits discrimination based on health status. How many times have you gone to the doctor and your insurance company said, sorry, we ain't paying for that because that was a pre-existing condition? No. Actually, in some cases, that's already taken place, but come 2014, gone. That cannot happen anymore. The Affordable Care Act. This improves the quality of care. It prioritizes the the reduction of health disparities. African Americans 5-to-1 have more disparities in their community than any other community. This act is seeking to change that. It reduces the gap in health status and health care between African Americans and the general population. Now my husband has these and he's going to help distribute them. I only have 10 of these. This is a booklet put out by the Congressional Black Caucus, and it is a wonderful explanation of everything, and it's easy to read, of everything that is in the Affordable Care Act. Now, what I'm going to ask, yes, in just a second, okay. I'm going to tell you that you can download this from our website, but it's 61 pages, so you better have a really good computer that's fast. But I did bring 10 with me, and what I want to know, I'd like 10 elected officials to raise their hands. Do I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Good. The 10 elected officials that are in the room, it's telling me that my time is almost up. The 10 elected officials that are in the room are the ones who will get these today, because I want you to be the leaders. I want you to read this, I want you to understand it, and then if you need more copies, we will help you get them, because this needs to be distributed throughout the nation, the state. Also, there are lots of websites, and I will send these to Deborah later so that she can get them out, but there are a lot of websites that are available for you to know more about the Affordable Care Act, and it's in simple layman's language. Don't take everything you hear on television as gospel. You got to read it for yourself. Now, very quickly, another thing that this does, a lot of people are upset because the health care is mandated, but it spreads the risk across the healthy and the sick. Everybody's going to help pay for this. Stops people from waiting until they're sick to get coverage, which raises cost, and it reduces the use of emergency rooms for non-emergency care, which is really expensive. The ACA will change. It eliminates pre-existing conditions, as I said. Also, it expands dependent coverage. I know a lot of mothers are happy about that. It expands Medicaid coverage, so our poor have more access to health care coverage and health care itself, and it establishes what's called the Health Benefits Exchange, which everybody is confused about, including them. So I meet with them regularly, and I'll tell you, they still haven't figured it all out. But just to make it simple, what is the Health Benefits Exchange? Think about this. It's going to take, the exchange actually goes into effect in 2014. Now think about it like this. The exchange is a system that is set up for as a competitive marketplace. In other words, it's a store. And in this store, you'll be able to go into the store and you will be able to shop for your health care. You can compare prices, you can compare health plans. So if you don't have insurance from your employer, if you don't have insurance and you don't qualify for Medicaid or Medicare, then you can go shop at the exchange. And that's what's going to happen in 2014. Right now, we're working out all the enrollment issues, all the eligibility issues, the whole mechanism for how people can access the exchange. But you as leaders in this room need to know this, because this is going to affect so many of the poor. The way that you qualify to shop in the exchange, if you're an individual, then you have to be between 133% and 400% of the federal poverty level. That means $14,000 to $43,000. 43,000 is your individual income. But if you're a family of four, it's $29,300 to $88,200. And then you can shop for the health insurance. But just think, these people don't have any insurance right now. None. But under the ACA, they will. What can you do? I want you today, I'm asking for a call to action. I want you to think about being an advocate, and I had stories I wanted to share, but I don't have time. It is so important that you understand advocacy. You make the difference. You need to know this so you can help your sister, your brother, your cousin, your niece. I've been an advocate. I know you can make a difference. You need to arm yourself with the knowledge, teach, reach, educate, and inform. Run for an elected office. We need more elected people who understand our needs. Apply for positions with the exchange. You should know that the Health Benefits Exchange is staffing up. They are applying for a grant from the federal government. They have tons of positions open. They're going for this grant in June, and they are writing the job descriptions now. You go on, just Google Health Benefits Exchange, go on their website, they list all the open positions. And they have told me to come up with names of African Americans. Assemblymember Carter, we need to talk about this, of African Americans, because they said, so far, we are not diverse at all. They only have one African American on the board itself. They want to put people of color in these positions, Latinos, Asians, and African Americans. And you can apply for appointed positions, and then I'm going to ask you to join California Black Health Network's movement called Colors of Commitment, representing African Americans, Native Americans, Asians, blacks, whites, all people of color. We want you to get one of these wristbands today at the end of this session. My husband and I will be out here. They're only $2. And what we're doing is we are trying to start a movement that we will build healthy communities of color. And then last but not least, we are putting on a conference the end of this month in Sacramento. I have registration information out there, but we were trying to bring together people from all walks of life, and we've got wonderful speakers to come and do more than I did today to inform you about what's happening, about the next steps, about how to get enrolled or get your people enrolled by 2014 to make sure that as many people as possible have coverage, and we can begin to turn the tide in some of these statistics. I am so sorry that I had to go so fast, but I really thank you for letting me be here, for sharing these tidbits of information with you, and I hope that the things I've said will make a difference and that you will take me seriously, get involved, be an advocate, and you make a difference too. Thank you.
Thank you, Darcel. Now, a couple of things that is going to occur. We have on your table, there are some cards for questions and pencils, and we would hope that you have some questions of our presenter, as well as perhaps while we still have our elected officials in the audience, you may even have questions to them that would be directed to them. And we're going to have someone who is going to moderate the Q&A. So I don't want Darcel to leave the station just yet. This event is an event that is sponsored by a number of people. You'll see them on the back of your program. However, I want to acknowledge those that are in attendance, please, because one of the things that I try to accomplish with this event is, besides bringing the information about things of importance to health, economic, job, career opportunities, I also like to highlight, whenever possible, during Women's History Month, women-owned businesses and those who support me, support me and our city and our community. And so, today I have one in attendance. She's been very supportive. There's another one. I don't know if she's made it in the audience, but they are both women-owned businesses, and they're women-owned businesses that are not in the traditional vein. And so, first off, she was here last year. She was responsible for overseeing the construction of the Riverside Avenue interchange that's on 10 Freeway, the lovely interchange if you came in, if you haven't seen it, but it's beautiful. It's reflective of our bridge. I'd like to acknowledge Ms. Deborah Berg for Berg & Associate, construction management firm, woman-owned business. Thank you. And a sponsor. And then also we have another one. I don't believe she's in the audience, but she's working with us on a lot of our public outreach, public relations activities, and that's MBI. The owner of that company is Mary McCormick. I don't believe she's in the audience. Give her a round of applause. And then I can always, with his help, call to the medical community to be supportive of it. They continue to be supportive of every activities that I provide in the community. Although they do not have a clinic in our community, they do have it in the county, and that is Dr. Arteaga. I don't believe he's in the audience, but that's with LaSalle Medical Associates, so give him a round of applause. And then one of my new sponsors who is here, and I went to him and asked, is there any way that you could be supportive of this effort? Because it's health, it's what you guys are talking about. I know they've been very active in Riverside with UCR and having helped to establish a medical program over there. And that is, if Dr. Levister would stand up, please take a bow. That's James W. Vine Medical Society that's over and supportive of the medical programs at UCR. Of course, the others that I have here as well is Skanska, who is a major construction company in our region, currently constructing the 215, and also one of our local-owned businesses here sponsors Bisco America, and then our own assembly member, I don't know if she left, but Wilma Amina Carter. So those are the key sponsors. We've got a number of baskets that you will receive. We will raffle off. So don't go anywhere, because if you leave the room and you're not here when we start that, we move it on. We don't put your name on it because we have no way of knowing who owns it. Okay, now we're going to move to another section. Please hopefully have some questions either of our keynote speaker or of our elected officials who are still in the audience. One of the things that when I was putting this together, and the staff, Barbara's staff is just so outstanding, Erica, Christopher, Gabe, but also Miss Maria Rodriguez, who is so creative and artistic. She designed this year's flyer logo. She does it every year. But when I saw it, I said, you know what? I don't know about you guys, but I like to watch only one thing in the morning now that I've retired, if I can get time. And I don't like watching Basketball Wives and all that stuff. I don't know anything about that. I like to watch The View. And I like The View because if you take time, it's very diverse group of ladies. They've got different opinions and everything. But it's also very informative. And they cover a lot of topics, not just the topics of, fashion and girly, but they also cover topics of politics as well. So, and I looked at this nice logo that was on our flyer this year. I said, you know what? That is The View. So if somebody, Gabe, is there a way to lift up the screen, because we no longer need it for the moment? And then I don't know while he's out. Well, while he's doing that, I'm gonna also acknowledge and introduce one of our human relations commissioners. She's a resident of Rialto. She also is in the health community. She works at Kaiser, but some of you have probably seen her on our local cable TV. She hosts our Community Pulse, and she's going to moderate the Q&A. So she's going to kind of serve like one of those on the View. I think her role will be basically the role of Whoopi. Whoopi tries to keep everybody on point and move things along. But I'd like to introduce to you Miss Erlinda Patterson. She's going to moderate for me. And staff and I will be moving these questions. We need you to stay where you are so they can deliver your lunch. But they have The View. And here in Rialto and in San Bernardino County, and when we host this activity, we would like to take the opportunity to welcome you to. And by the way, I can't send you home with iPads and all these other things, but when we leave, we will send you home with a lovely travel mug. And welcome to our view, okay? So this is going to be our view. It will always be our view, okay? So I'm going to turn it over to these ladies. Thank you. This is a mock setting, but you certainly can sit.
Thank you. Thank you, Deborah. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Well, it's wonderful to be here today on a Saturday. Where else would you want to be? Nowhere else. This is wonderful. We have some of our wonderful leaders here in town and from the local community. Thank you for being here. Mayor, it's good to see you. It's really good to see you. Josie, Gloria, it's good to see all of you here. Today we are with Our View. And if you've seen the television show, you know what this is about. It's a Q&A. There's a card on your table. Have you written a question for us? Yes. All right. Why don't you, Barbara, is somebody going to pass those questions up? All right. Really good. Thank you for our keynote speaker today. It was really interesting. Let's give her a hand. 3 million California people live in poverty. 3 million. 60% are women. That has to change. That definitely has to change. And with the empowerment that all these women in here in this room, and gentlemen, we can make a change. We can make a difference. You as leaders in here can make a difference. You have a question here? Thank you. Do foster youth who lose their insurance at the age of 22 qualify for health insurance program? This is from Ashley Radford. Do the foster youth who lose the insurance at the age of 22, do they qualify for the health insurance program? That's a very good question.
That is an excellent question. And yes, under the ACA, they will qualify for the program, but it's through what's called LIPS, the local, local insurance, I can't remember now what that stands for, but these are county programs that each of the counties have signed on to, with the exception of about 4. I know Fresno hasn't signed on yet. But through LIPS, they will be able to qualify for insurance to cover their needs, even though they no longer are in the foster care program. So yes.
All right, very good.
LIPS, and I'll get you the meaning for I'll get the acronym to you, what it
All right.
stands for.
At this time, I'd like to ask our supervisor, would you like to add anything to this comment? Josie? We're going to get a mic to her. We're going to bring you a mic. Yes. The question was, do foster children who lose their insurance at the age of 22 qualify for the health insurance program?
Yes, they do. And there are mechanisms already in place. It's extremely important that any of you who are familiar with a child who has been in foster care, and I don't know if it's all the way up to 22, in some cases it's 18. And if you are familiar with someone or are in a position to share this information with others, it's imperative that they reach out and that they ask these very important questions, whether it be from TAD, the Transitional Assistance Department, whether it be from Child Protection Services, from Child Foster Services. All of that information is available. There are public health, with the Department of Public Health, we have Dr. Ohukari, who is the executive director, and they should reach out. All of the information is there. If not, it is available online on the county website at sdcounty.gov.
Very good. Thank you very much.
We will also, I'll take the questions that come up today and I will put them on our website. I'll post them so that we have kind of an FAQ on our website with the answers to those questions too, so it'll be easy for you to access.
Very good. Now, your website is what now? Do you have a pen, ladies and gentlemen?
Okay, you'll need a pen because it's a little long. It was up on the screen. It's www.ca, for California, CA-BlackHealthNetwork.org, all spelled out. CA-BlackHealthNetwork.org.
Very good. Very good. It is a really profound issue, and it needs to be addressed. There's a question here from Faye Jack. How would I go about getting information on ACA to the black churches? Would you be able to give us an answer here?
I am so glad you asked that question. That's one that I neglected to mention in my talk. California Black Health Network has been granted a good deal of money from the California Endowment Foundation to actually roll out a statewide program on education and outreach for the ACA. It's specifically targeted for the ACA. Beginning in April and going until September, we're going to be hosting town hall meetings, which we are in the process of structuring. If you have churches in this area or in your area that you want included with those town hall meetings, please let us know. We have money to do these. We want to get the information out, and we want to very much include the faith-based community because we know how important it is that they send information to their congregations. So you have my information and my email address. Please let us know, and we will include you with our town halls.
Very good. Very good. Now, the next question that we have here on our view, and we have quite a few questions, so we're going to try to address some of the most important ones, which are the ones that you have handed in. I have found that at most events, they do not serve healthy snacks. Could this be because they're donated? Where's the caution for the diabetic?
And another good question, and I see that we're having salads today. Very good, ladies. You know, I don't think that it's that they are donated at these events. I think it's more about culture. We've learned to have lots of food and lots of unhealthy food at our events. As I used to own a meeting planning business, and I put on the conferences for the National Medical Association, for the National Baptists, for a lot of those kinds of groups. And they told me, no, we want this, 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 and this, even when I tried to change what it was that we were going to serve, including the desserts afterwards. We have to change our own behavior. We have to change our own minds about what we're eating. And those of you who are structuring events, you're in charge, you determine what's served, and you have to make the decision to serve what's healthy.
Very good. Now, the next question, please listen. Please listen. I am not an elected official, but as a volunteer, as a member of the Ministry of Health and Human Services, can I have a book if I promise to get the information out to our community? And we know who that is over there waving. Very good. You got it one way or another. Now, that shows you a woman who wants to be empowered. Let's give that lady a hand. She got what she wanted. She sure did. She sure did. You know, I know you're enjoying your lunch, and this is wonderful. It's a wonderful event. Thank you very much. We have to, again, before we go to the next question, we have to see the lady here to my left, Deborah Robertson, is awesome. Her and Barbara McGee have done an amazing job. They have done a fantastic job so that we women can get ahead. And you guys too. Now here's something that I heard a minute ago. Statistics show that 3 million people are in poverty. 60% of those are women. Do the stats show why there are so many women versus men? Monique Vincent Winks.
You know, I can't give you a fact-based answer because I have not seen stats that talk about why. But just based on the work that I do and the people I've been exposed to, I think oftentimes it is because women, when we lose our jobs, we have families to take care of. We don't, oftentimes, women are from the single parent in the home, and so the expenses are more than the income. They're trying to make ends meet, and sometimes with the economy the way it is now, they just aren't making it. And when they don't, they have nowhere to go. Oftentimes it also is because there aren't families to support them, extended family members. And I think a lot of it has to do too with our tendency not to ask for help.
Very good. Thank you very much for all the efforts and the work you've done for us. Now, I'd like to invite Ms. Wilmina Carter, please, to help us with this particular question. Mental health needs to be included. We'll get her a microphone, please. Thank you, Ms. Carter. Mental health needs to be included. It is a major hidden program in our community. What are some of the things that are happening to help this population?
Well, thank you so much for the question, and you have to have been an elected official to understand how mental health care is so important. Really, really, very important. And in the last couple of years, I've worked with agencies, our county agencies here in the Inland Empire, in order to get funding, get more information about it. I have a resolution that I passed in order to bring it to the state legislature every year that we recognize the importance of mental health care. And I'm happy to announce that our county is way ahead in addressing the problems of mental health care. The supervisor has been, one of the fighters for information and funding for in that area, and I've been really fortunate to work with her at the state level in order to provide that kind of funding. And so if there are any questions about that, my office is available here in Rialto, and there's a website, there's the 211 program that if there's a need that you need to find information, you can go on that website in order to get information. My office helps promote that. And so anyone here with questions about it, make sure that you get in touch with my district office to get more information on it.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Josie, did you want to add something to that? Let's get the microphone over to Josie Gonzalez, please. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yes, I'd like to add that through the Behavioral Health Department, County Behavioral Health and Mental Health Department, we have been very aggressive with the funds that we've been given in order to have a wider, more intense, more effective impact on those who need that particular type of service. And we say, well, who are they? You know what? Number one, it could be any one of us. It could be any one of our family members. But it is definitely many of the individuals that you see walking down any street in any city who are homeless, who are near homeless, who have no idea how they got there. Something went wrong, whether it was because circumstances at home, psychological, situation. Poverty is a huge, huge disincentive contributor. And when you fail to have the proper role models, when you are unlucky enough to walk through life and not have someone reach out to you and tell you you're a nice person, you're a nice young lady, a nice little boy, and that you're doing well in school, and how beautiful it would be to see you grow up and be productive. Something happens inside the psychological DNA of a person, and it breaks down. And there are chemical reactions that happen in a person's body that actually bring about depression, that lead to breakdown of initiative, that make it easier for doors of leading to drugs, leading to misbehavior. And the consequences for all of that, as we know, is incarceration, is a great deal of, I'm sorry, is somebody? Hopefully, all right. That lead to incarceration, lead to homelessness, lead to disenfranchisement. And we at the county have these state mandates. That's one of the functions that the county supervisors swear to uphold and implement within their community, within the county. And we have money. We are very careful as to how we use it, and we're very proactive with the programs that we have. Assemblymember Carter?
Thank you, Josie. And now?
I just wanted to add to what the supervisor had said about providing the funding and the source of income for this. About a year and a half ago, I went to a meeting of some of the providers for mental health care because we had had a shooting in the community of a young boy. And so I asked them which agency went over to the family to provide some kind of, help with them right away. And they all looked at each other and said, well, I thought your agency did. And then the other one said, well, I thought your agency did. Well, it turns out that no one had gone to that family to provide that kind of help that they needed, that to answer questions, what do I do? So the family was alone for about 5 days before anyone realized that no one had gone to them. And so through our churches, we do it, but we're not professionals, but, we do it because, of how we feel in our heart about helping one another. But through the county, and as the supervisor has said, they have consolidated that kind of help so that hopefully there's one number that they can call in order to do that. And so I saw that as a need then, and that's when our office started working with the county to make sure that when the need arises, it's always right then. It's never, you never have 3 or 4 days to say, oh, I really need some help. And so I'm really encouraging people to make sure that you have the numbers and the access to the information, because you never know when you're going to need it. And that was the incident that caused me to be more interested in making sure that our community knew where to find help when they needed it.
Thank you, Assemblywoman Carter. Let me just add a couple of things. Number one, how many of you are familiar here with the 211 program? Raise your hand. All right, well, you've got a little bit of work to do. 211. 211 is a wonderful program. It is the equivalent of 411.
Josie's losing her voice from she'll get water, but I'm familiar with 211. I saw a number of hands, but not enough hands. 211 is a program that actually is administered under the Inland Empire United Way. However, it is county funded. It's the county's program that allows you to call 211 to get any resource need that you would need, if the housing, food, financial, whatever. You can call just 211, and there's operators online 24 hours. I know that because I was doing loan exec there 2 years ago in our United Way program. Here in the city of Rialto, we keep the 211 cards on the counter in the city hall. I would encourage everyone, if you have an organization or a place, call them, let them know you want to put the card out, you want to make it available to your members, your churches, wherever. But it is a wonderful tool, and it's free. Everything is free. They will assist you. And there's other programs. There's even one called Pathways to Poverty, where if you are homeless but you're trying to get a job, you can sign up and have a voice line, an actual mobile mail line that would be assigned to you, that you can actually go to any payphone, dial your mobile number, and get any messages that someone may be leaving you if you are trying to get employment and someone needs to get back to you because you don't have a cell phone or you don't have a phone. There's a lot of tools out there. So I have the mic, and I know Josie may want to answer, but I want to say to you guys, as Darcel said, you're all leaders in here. We all are here to continue to be empowered. The supervisor, our chairperson, has a Facebook, a page, and I would encourage you, if you have email, you have access, go on to her website, go to her Facebook, click on it, like her, but let her know that you're there to be an advocate and you want to be informed about anything that's going to roll out in the county as it relates to the Affordable Care Act. Because California, I don't know if I heard you say that, Darcy, but California, it will be the first state that it actually rolls out and is launched in, right?
We were the very first state to actually pass the enabling legislation to implement the act. And what's so significant about that is that the way California goes, the way the rest of the country goes, Congress is actually looking to see what we do and how we do it and how successful it is, because that will determine how other states implement the act. And I just wanted to piggyback on what Josie and Assemblymember Carter said about mental health. One of the things that CDHN is trying to do is to be a hub. We are advocacy and policy. We are the hub, and then we try to collaborate with all of these other organizations. So I serve on a ton of committees, and I have a new assistant who is actually focused on mental health. And one of the things that we're trying to do is to bring those issues to the state legislature. So when you bubble up things from the local level, you come to CBHN if it involves African American health, and then we are your representatives to the state legislature, even if it's helping to write policy or to advocate for policy. But mental health has become, based on what our board just did, one of our strategic objectives.
Very good, very good. Now, you want to add something to that?
Anything else you want to add? And then we're going to take only probably about 2 more questions, but I would hope that, one, we get a comment from our
we're talking regional and state, but we have our schools. Schools in our community are very important, and I would hope that we have some question we can direct to our president of our local Rialto School Board.
We sure
as
do.
well as,
We sure do.
we should, as well as the partnership and things we have. I would like to acknowledge, because she managed to make it here. I know she had, this morning, had to open or kick off the opening of Little League in her community, but the mayor of Fontana, Aquanetta Warren, has joined us again. She was here last year. And one of the things that we work together in what we call the triangle is to really make sure that we are always partnering the Fontana, Holton, Rialto, the San Bernardino as best we can, but for free. If you guys haven't noticed, you have 3 female mayors that sit side by side. And Sarah, the mayor of Holton, she would have been here, she wanted to be here, but she's still at home trying to recover off and on from dealing with pneumonia. So she did, I think, try to make it to the state of the county, but she really needs to rest. So, I just want you to know that we are constantly in constant dialogue and interaction to make sure that whatever happens in one community doesn't impact or hurt the other community. And Josie?
Thank you very much. Let me just quickly add that as I asked about the 211 program, I was going to say that it's the equivalent of what we are familiar with as the 411 program for directory service, but with a live person on the other end of the line 24/7. And you can ask for information in reference to assistance from rent, first and last, to help with your utilities, to where the food providers are, community action partnership. You can ask anything related to your health, that you need an outpatient clinic service, you need to see a doctor, legal services. You think of it, and it is there. And if you can't find it, again, I hope you have a pencil, I'll give you my office number, 909-387-4565. You're more than welcome to call my office or go on my Facebook. Thank you so much, Councilwoman Robertson, for mentioning that. Also wanted to call your attention to the fact that we need to be very active in the African American Health Initiative platform. Come on, Dr. Wood's been out there working hard, and we need to be supported. That's very important. How about the healthy communities? Healthy communities. If you don't know what that is, go on my website. Find out. Google it. Become a part of it. It is our way of life if we truly want it. The fact that we will be having the health information exchange. How many of you are familiar with HIE? Raise your hand. Ooh. Health information exchange will also be, I like that hand back there, very, very important, in which we will begin, again, through the ACA, to be able to get information from individuals that will be protected, that will be confidential, but will be accessible to doctors. When we walk into a doctor, an emergency room, a clinic, and we say we need help, whether we're conscious or unconscious, there will be a way, once you are identified, to be able to look at your medical history, look at what kind of medications you're on, look at how best to treat you in that given moment, that the best outcome can be had. There are a whole lot of health care opportunity approaches. I really want you to become involved. At the county, I started 2 departments. One is the Office of Homeless Services, and the other is the Interagency Council on Homelessness. And you don't have to be homeless. Come on now. How many people know what the definition of homeless is? And it's not being out in the street or living out of your car. It's doubling up. It's not being able to know that you will be able to have the money to stay in your homeless when the next payment, mortgage payment or rent comes up, many of our seniors suffer in silence. Children, Deborah, you have no idea how grateful I am you mentioned the schools. Children, at times, because they're so innocent, will let it slip to their teachers that they're living in a garage, that they're living out of a car, that they don't have enough to eat.
And it happens every day.
Their parents won't say it because they're embarrassed, and they think if they just try a little harder, they're going to get out of that situation and no one will know. But the children and the seniors suffer the most. And so it's very important that you become empowered through leadership and leadership of knowledge that then brings about the delivery of services for all the people we want to serve. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Josie.
She has done that for me. I was not trying to pull a light from her because I know she has to leave, but I hope you can tell that she is very passionate, very committed, and very much concerned about the issues here in our community.
Right. Thank you. All right, let's take the last question. Or do you have two? I have several. Take two questions. Actually, I have for you. How do we educate men about the complexities of women's health so that they can be supportive to the women in their lives?
Well, of course, the first thing you do is to talk to the man in your own home and educate and inform him. My husband and I talk about these issues all the time, and it's important that you start the dialogue in your home with your husbands and with your sons, your brothers, in your own families. And then through forums like this, you know, this is a women's state of the women, but it doesn't have to be just for women. It's good to invite your spouses to forums like this and to invite them to other kinds of seminars that are going on about our health. Bring home the information or share it in meetings. Don't be afraid to speak up in a meeting about women's issues and what the complexities of them and what it entails. I know that I go to meetings all the time where I am either one of or just a handful of women, and we are women who are not afraid to speak up and speak out and identify the issues and talk about them, or if something's being said that is not right about the issues that we face, we speak up and we correct them. So I think it's an individual mandate that you not be afraid to talk about our issues, that you educate and you take it upon yourself to educate, and another thing is to volunteer. One of the things that I think is really important is that we take upon ourselves to get out and do more volunteering in our schools and in our churches, and also to help our pastors understand on Sundays and on some of these programs that they have, we need to bring these issues forward for women too. And so volunteering on committees, volunteering in our schools. There's an organization called California School-Based Health Centers, and I work very closely with them. And they have health centers that are in the community, many of them are in communities of color. There's so many kids that we're able to reach through those health centers, but they need volunteers. So you can seek out in your own backyard some of those places too to work.
Very good, thank you. Thank you. I'd like to, Joanne, hi. It's good to see you. There's a question, or actually a concern. It's about speaking at Rialto high schools about this issue, about the underserved population and how it can be helped. Are there any speaking engagements ever at the high schools about this concern? Oh, here. Let me just take it. That you're aware of?
I'm not really sure I understand your question.
Well, the comment is, any plans for speaking to Rialto high schools about this issue?
There are no plans now, but we're open. You know, anytime there's a question or concern that needs to be addressed,
Right.
all we need to do is get it out there.
Let the parents call you and
Yes.
give you this concern.
Right.
And it can, so for those of you in the audience, if Joanne doesn't know about the concern, then it can't be done.
Exactly.
So let's call Joanne. Joanne, where can they reach you?
Well, you can reach me at the school district office,
Okay.
909-820-7700.
820-7700.
Extension 2124.
Very good. So if you have concerns that you want to educate the younger population, then you can call Joanne, and then this issue would be addressed.
We address issues as they come up, and through our health department and through California Alliance with School Health, we teach health and all of this in our curriculum. So, but if there are particular issues that need to be addressed, then of course we will address it if we know there's a need.
Absolutely. Thank you, Joanne. That's a very good answer. And you want to add something to that?
Yes, I also wanted to say that one of the strategies, again, that California Black Health Network is planning on implementing a little bit later in the year is I hired an administrative assistant who is currently a student at California State University. And one of the things she's doing is working on our Facebook page with a specific emphasis to outreach to the youth. We also are inviting, we have scholarships for youth to come to our conference. You can call our office if you're interested in having youth from Rialto attend the conference, and we'll pick up the cost. We also are trying to use Angelise Farrell, my assistant, as a catalyst to speak to schools around the state about some of the issues that we're talking about, because we find that youth speak to youth or hear youth better. So we're going to have, we've just implemented what we call the African American Speakers Bureau on Health. And that Speakers Bureau is the first of its kind in the state, and it's populated with people who are experts in all kinds of fields, including youth issues. You'll see that going up on our website probably around May or June, because we're planning on having that on the website right after the conference. And again, if you want someone to come from the Speakers Bureau to speak to an event or to a high school or to school, any kind of gatherings of youth, we'll be willing to send someone to do that.
Excellent. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. That was our view. And for all of you that answered the questions, thank you. Thank you very much. Deborah? Oh, yes. And Deborah wants me to make sure that you know that all your questions are going to be on the website. On your website. And again, she'll give you the website again. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
So, like I said, in your bag you should find, and we'll close out the view, but in your bag, when you're out doing the healthy Rialto thing, you're out walking or you're commuting to work, I just want to let you know that you will have your own personal travel mug that says, "Our View," okay? So anytime somebody see it, you can just let them know, well, it's my view. It's our view, okay? So thank you. Now, we have a few other speakers. I want to get to them. A couple of things I really wanted to cover was, you know, a number of you have heard about the landmark $18 billion settlement to California that our state attorney general, which, by the way, happens to be a woman, was able to negotiate for California, and is dealing with the foreclosures and the mortgages and things of that nature. I had asked Ms. Jackson if she could be here. Ms. Jackson is from the NID Housing Counseling Agency. Apparently, she's not able to join us, but her assistant, Karen, there you are, Karen, come on up. I will ask if Karen could give us some information about the act, and then we're going to move to, after her, we're going to talk briefly and have someone give us small presentation on career opportunities. So give Karen Wiggins a round of applause, please. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am grateful to be here amongst all these women. Usually when I take the mic, for some people who know me in the room, I start singing. They kept going, "Are you singing today? Are you singing?" But I am in ministry. I am in a gift of service, and I am so fortunate to work for and with Miss Linda Jackson. She's very passionate about what she does, and it has spilled over to us. I'm here to give you a bit of information about the national mortgage settlement. When I guess Ms. Lee was talking earlier, they were speaking about the children and how they have to leave their home and stress. Most people, and some of you have in the room, either you yourself have been stressed out about what's going to happen with my home, my mortgage, how am I going to stay in this house? And if it's not you, I'm sure you know someone who's suffering from, what am I going to do? Am I going to stay or am I going to leave? Well, there's a passage, and I believe in the Word of God, there's a passage that says people perish because of the lack of knowledge, because we don't know. And then the other thing that I see, and we go around to churches, Linda goes, if you go to church, Linda's probably been in your church already, but we're prideful and we don't want to share the information with others. So right now what's going on is the National Mortgage Settlement. There was about $20 billion that's going to bring relief to homeowners. And it's going to bring relief to those who are still in their homes now, who may be facing foreclosure, or who may be just going through the foreclosure process. And then there's funds that were allotted to those who've already lost their homes, okay? So what you want to do with that pencil on the table, I may not be able to give you all of the information. I'm going to talk about that, but Linda just left me like a page of things. She said, don't forget to tell them this, don't forget to tell them that, don't forget to tell them this. So you want to dial our number. You want to give us a call. We're located right in San Bernardino at 2050 North Mount Vernon. But the telephone number there is 909-887-8700, 909-887-8700. This national mortgage settlement is going to deal with principal reductions. A lot of people can't stay in their home because they just owe too much, and the principal needs to be reduced, and the loan needs to be just reevaluated because they're upside down. That's what you call it. We can give you details on that. It's going to talk about refinancing. There's issues for people, like I said, who've already lost their homes and are trying to stay in the home. 5 of the banks were involved in this. If you know someone, or if you have someone, or if you have a mortgage by Bank of America, one of the and it was before Bank of America, it was Countrywide, Bank of America, Chase acquired a couple, EMC, all of those are included, Citibank, and I believe it's 2 more of them. It's Wells Fargo, Citi, Chase, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, and GMAC Mortgage. All of those are included in this. I was really researching it, and I'm done. I'm going to give you 4 more things that we do offer because I don't want to take much time. I know we're finishing. I was researching, and I found out that even there's some information for people who have homes that are not, your loan is not by these 5. And there's another thing that's out called the Independent Foreclosure Review. I don't know if you heard about that. The Independent Foreclosure Review. If you've already lost your home or you're in foreclosure and you feel like it was unfair, there's a number, dial our number, 909-887-8700, and somebody there can tell you, even if you lost your home, there's funding that may be available to you to help you relocate. To help you just get settled. If you're in the middle of foreclosure, they'll do some type of forensic auditing where they can find out it's unfair what you're going through right now, and we want to give you funds that will help you stay in your home. On March the 24th, at our office, we are inviting some of the banks to come out. Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo. There's going to be a real estate attorney there that talks about deficiency, short sales. Everybody doesn't qualify for a loan modification. That's what we specialize in as well. So we talk about graceful transition. We also offer, I think Sherry Ann is still here, I'm talking really fast. We do first-time home buyer classes. We want you to purchase homes and to stay in the home and to understand what it's all about. I was outside talking to someone else, and we talked about our free credit counseling classes. So I didn't just want to give you just the information, because it goes on and on about the national mortgage settlement. I want to make sure we cover it all. How you get a home, how you stay in a home, how if you're in the home right now and you're embarrassed and you're suffering, that there is help. And one thing about our help that I love is that it's FREE. And I don't know why people have a problem with free. We're certified and everything, but the help is free. People travel to our office from Orange County, from Upland, from Los Angeles, up in the desert. They come from Temecula. And people keep asking Linda, why don't you just go and move to another city and set up a big office? And she said, I'm staying right here where it started. And I want to help the people here. So I'm just begging you, asking you to call us and let us help you. Don't be too proud to get the free help that might help you stay in your home, or there's funds that can help you transition, or you know somebody. Don't be too proud to get the help. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Karen. And a couple of things. Also, out in the lobby, there's a number of information booths. Rialto Housing Division, we have some information out there on the settlement as well, and there's a lot of information out there. Now, yes, Karen?
And I did bring flyers and all kinds of information, details regarding the settlement.
Great. Okay, so that's out there as well. You brought the flyers, and so they'll be out there. And I would hope that when we do finally conclude, you know, everyone, please take time to still network, socialize, speak with each other. We're moving through the program because a couple of things, I've whittled down a number of our speakers in the past. We've had 5 or 6. We're down to basically 3, but it's always a wonderful opportunity to talk. One of the other things I wanted to bring forward was a discussion on career opportunities. And recently, I'll say about 3 weeks ago, maybe 3 or 4, I can't, first part of February, I traveled with our fire chief and our human resource director, as well as our administrative director. We went to a workshop where we're talking about succession and recruitment in the fire services. And we heard about some of the concerns and myths, and we heard from panels. And one of the things we heard was from actually adults who were, you know, parents of young ladies, and they had a concern about women pursuing careers in fire services. So we came back. We here in Rialto are going to launch a number of things. First and foremost, we're going to do more to outreach and build our Explorer program. So we'll be reaching into the schools. We'll be partnering with the schools. We'll start doing all that we can. We have some wonderful young women who are very athletic, and they pursue things in soccer, baseball, track, and all of that. They are already physically have the agility to do the test, but perhaps no one's really encouraging them to look at that as a career path. In addition to that, I hope you noticed today people were serving you, and we had a number of people who were assisting us from the military. Well, those were recruiters. Give them a round of applause, okay? Let's face it, guys. The men aren't the only ones who can go out and defend our country or to bring forth the service. And so I wanted to take the opportunity today to have you guys hear from a young lady, a woman who's in the military, has made that her career commitment. And then at the same time, I want you guys to applaud. And like I talked to you guys earlier about Maria and all of her skills and talents, and she always gets things done, Maria Rodriguez, who's Barbara McGee's executive assistant, but also the proud mother of Cecilia C.C. Rodriguez, who wouldn't talk, wouldn't come up and speak, and her proud grandfather standing next to her, the city treasurer, Ed Carrillo. But Cece will be joining and going into the Navy on Tuesday. Yes! And let's give her a round of applause. So with that, I'm going to call up Ms. Marisela Lozano, who we call Madi, to come up and speak. And she's the daughter of one of our commissioners, Human Relations Commissioner, Carol Lozano. So Madi, please.
Thank you, everybody. Once again, please give a good, nice round of applause for Cece, because it's going to be a great experience. So What I've told her so far is, make the most of it. It's not going to be an easy road. I'll tell you this now. It will not be an easy road, but it's going to be a worthwhile road. Make it what it's worth. So once again, congratulations, Cece. So anyways, I just want to talk to everyone here in regards to my experience of the military. It has been the best, most exhilarating experience I've had in my entire life. I joined 4 years after high school. I was one of those people where I was just like, yeah, military? I think not. Not the kid, not me. 13 years later, I stand before you as a Chief Petty Officer of the United States Navy. Thank you. This is something that I thought at one point in my career. I used to remember walking into the, we had, our RDCs, what we called, and we had this one HMC, a corpsman chief, and he would yell at us, I'm like, oh my God, Lord, this man's gonna kill me. Now they're looking at me, oh my Lord, this woman's gonna kill me. That is my job. But I never thought, 13 years ago that I would be here and be able to stand. The chief community alone in the Navy service is small. Now I am a female, and not just a minority. I am a black and a Mexican minority female chief. So this is something that, as a woman standing here before you, it can be done. And now we have women serving, the whole combat, front lines. Yeah, we're not kicking down doors, but I tell you what, we are opening doors. So we're opening it up to everybody. So I want, go out to your young ladies, even the young men out there. It is a dangerous life, but I can walk outside and be in a dangerous life. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things, but it's fulfilling. The things that I can come home and say that I've seen, I've done. When I come home and say, Dad, guess what I did? Guess who I saw? I stood in front of an Afghani admiral and was just like, wow. What's that? I got the picture to prove it if y'all want to see it too. I stood next to, I call him P4. Please don't tell him that. But General Petraeus, when he was out in Afghan, don't tell him I called him P4 though. But that was his name, P4. I'm standing in front of him like this. It's things like that. I know as mothers out here, you're worried about your sons and daughters, and that the worry is there. But have the support, because you know what? What I do for you. For you to sit here and to support me. I couldn't do my job without you. Everyone says it's the other way around, but in reality, without the people here and supporting me, I have no job. I have nothing to fight for. I fight for the women sitting here opening up the doors. I have a female mayor, for God's sakes. Without her kicking down that first door, how could I be that chief petty officer? Senators, congresswomen, there's just a plethora of things, and this is just a small part of what I do. I'm standing here, I'm like, they want me to speak? Really? I don't really do anything. What do I do? I go to work every day, I've been deployed, but who am I? But now I stand before you as a chief petty officer. It's one of those things, right? So just to give you a little bit of the benefits, it gives you the self-discipline. It gives you the motivation. It gives you self-worth. It gives you that strength. I have young women come to me and say, I couldn't do that. Yes, you can. I can't do push-ups. Yes, you can. Who says you can't? It ain't nothing but getting on them hands and feet, up, down, up, down. That's all it is. I can't run 1.5 miles. Who says? Who says you can't run 1.5 miles? The hardest step is the first step. That's the biggest thing. As long as you take that first step, everything else is easy. It's just getting up and doing it. So go out and tell your young women that it is possible. You can be a pretty girl and still be out there busting down doors, because I tell you what, they look at me and be like, yes, Chief. Not a problem, Chief. I may have a smile, but tell you what, my bite will hurt. That's a guarantee. So give those young women, those young men that opportunity. Be afraid. That's what we drive off of. That fear. That fear is what brings me home. I'm not going to go out there and do anything silly. I'm not going to go out there and just run off and run amok. The fear is what brings us back. And then the support. My mother, I love my mama. She's right there in the yellow. Miss Sunshine right there. Without her, she's the one that says, okay, I walk home, I get off that plane, 10 fingers, 10 toes. Then I turn to my dad, don't tell Mom, but guess what I did? I was in that Humvee, don't tell him, but that was me. You know, my mom's like, what'd you do? Nothing. I'm still a chief, but I'm still her daughter, so that doesn't take anything. I'm like, okay, yes, ma'am. I can't pull that rank in the house. So I guess to wrap it up is basically it can be done. I was one of those people that didn't think I could do it. I really didn't. I was 4 years in the Navy. I had a female chief. I'll never forget her name. She was a ETC Mendoza was her name. She pulled me aside and she gave me her anchors. These are her anchors that she wore when she got pinned. So about 10 years later, she came to my ceremony and gave me her anchors. So that woman is the person that told me, you can do it. I saw her and was just like, wow, really? Because I was just a lonely little second class, about to be first class. I was like, Chief talking to me? Why is she talking to me? I didn't do nothing. What'd I do? How come? For what? Damn, Chief, why, really? You really want to talk to me now? And then she put me in like a corner, so I was like, I'm really in trouble. So, but she pulled me aside and was just like, you have it. You have the leadership. It's all about the leadership. It's about putting forth that effort and being someone who is confident, who is self-worth of who she is and knows what she wants and knows how to get there. And even if she doesn't know exactly how the end product will be, but she'll know that, you know what, I want to go down this path, and this is the path that I need to go down. So, like I said, after that, it was just like, this is what I need to do. I want to be the boss, and I'm going to do it. So, to Cece, I mean, really, you are an inspiration because you are going to be the future. I can't be in the Navy too much longer. You know, I got 7 more years, and I might have to pull over the ranks. So, you know, 13, 14 years down the line, you might be standing in front as a Chief Petty Officer. You never know. You know, you just got to put it together, put it forward, and like I said, good things will happen. But the Navy's going to use you. You use the Navy. All right? So, in closing, I'd just like to thank you, and for everybody that has paved the way for me, for Cece, and for all the other future women coming up in the world. I thank you. Without you, I couldn't be standing here. So, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I know on the program I did have Q&A, and I think we covered the questions and answers. I know Madi will be here and the others, and if you have some questions of them, please do not hesitate to step up and talk with them. I would like to acknowledge the information booths that are here, vendors that are here, people who came out Saturday to take the time to provide information to you. So please, before you leave, please stop, get the information, make the contact, empower yourself. Starting with 4D College. 4D College is a vocational career college in the healthcare field. Bank of America, Eddie P. Boutique, Rialto Dental Group, Relay for Life, State Farm Insurance, Alta Vista Credit Union, Rialto Housing Division, California Black Health Network, Navy Recruiting Station in Fontana, Healthy Rialto, our Healthy Communities. And I would ask, because one of the things we're doing here in Rialto under our Healthy Rialto is we have a Randall Lewis fellow who is assigned to us. She's doing her master's in public health. And we would like to make sure we find out from our community what are some of the things you would like to see in Rialto, what are some of the things you would want to be involved in. So we have a brief questionnaire out there. I would ask that you stop, take the time, and fill out one of our surveys, because we will need that information. We will be having an upcoming future meeting, community meetings, where we can brainstorm a little further on some of the things that we'd like to further advance in the city. We have the Rialto Fire Department and Human Resources. And again, our fire chief is over here, as well as our HR and administrative directors. And we have information, we have ongoing recruitment activities, but there is going to be a greater emphasis on recruiting women and also yeah, everybody, individuals of color, everyone. We just need to do more to build that pool of people that would be available. And I know I had asked the chief, and I don't know if it'll be possible, but we're hoping that we will be able to launch some type of, if not here in March, by April, some type of a little one-day summit or fitness activity where we'll invite the young ladies in the schools, middle school and high school in Rialto and possibly other, Fontana and Colton, to come out, spend about 3 or 4 hours with the fire department. I'm sure our chief will work with the others to make it a partnership. And we run them through some of the drills. We let them spend some time putting on all that equipment, pulling the ladder and lifting the hoses and doing a whole bunch of things. So I don't know if we'll get it done by the end of March. I asked him if he could make that happen. If not, it'll be though before summer. I got that commitment, right? I got a whole bunch of people in the room who heard you shake your head. Didn't hear it, but it's not. Okay. Loma Linda University Preventive Care Students Association. Yay, in the house. Thank you. National Council of Negro Women Incorporated Inland Empire Section, and Vine Medical Society. Thank you. Give a round of applause to all of our information booth vendors. And I know others have brought some material. They mentioned it to me, so they're out. It's all out there. Before we, one thing, Chris is in the front, and our assembly member, she's been kind enough to stay with us all during this time. Could you come up briefly and present quickly something that she brought to me? And I just told her, I mean, I love her dearly, and I asked her and her representative. When I retired, she came to my retirement brunch and brought me a replica of my resolution. But I want you guys to know that I'm recorded in California's legislative history.
And today is actually framed in a formal frame, and it's going to last. But first of all, let me ask you a question. How many people knew that Deborah had retired? She doesn't act like she's retired, does she?
I haven't had time.
That's what I like about her. She just retired from one thing and she went right on to the next. So you're never going to know when she's going to retire. She's still doing exactly what she's always done. And so that's why I'm so honored, and I wanted to come back at her venue and present this in the formal frame from the state of California, recognizing all of her work that she's done during her career, and let her know that it's been signed by me and it will be in the state of California, and it's also signed by the senator, Senator McLeod. And so I wanted to present it again to her in front of her peers. So let's give her a big hand. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you. So we're not going to let her retire.
Okay. And we have a number of other certificates and recognitions, and I just want to say to everyone who was thoughtful enough to bring them, thank you. We will put them on our website and display them on behalf of this. But I just wanted to say to my sister, to Assemblymember Carter, that I had to get out because you guys keep messing with our pension. Oh. So I just couldn't take it, anymore. And some of my former staff is here, some of my managers, and they would come, and every day we'd hear something different about the pension, and it just got to a point where I couldn't be a voice of encouragement because I don't know what they're going to do. Run for the hills. Get out while you can. Anyway, so that's all I can say is you stay too long, it may be gone, okay? That's all I can say, so get out while the getting is good. Okay, having said that, I think our first, and all of these baskets have been donated by the elected officials in our community, or businesses, corporations, but we asked them, and this whole activity has just grown, and it's growing and growing. So I'm putting the call out now, because all today everybody's been asking me, boy, this is man, what are you going to do next year? Whatever. Let me know. I'm letting you know. Next year, first Saturday in March, we will hold the 7th annual State of the Women's event. And all of those who I contacted to say, will you sponsor? I'll call you again and I'll make the beg. But don't wait for me to call. Call me and tell me you want to be a part of this. I really would appreciate it. Empower yourself. But no, first Saturday in March, more than likely we will have to use our gym, our gymnasium that's just north of City Hall. It's the Johnson Center. It holds about, I think, 500 people comfortably. So, but mark your calendar, because I'll get around to sending you a save the date probably in December, and that'll be about it. We have come to the end of the program. Again, I would like to just say in closing, and I want to, because I know she was busy and out, but I really would like to give our local, the neighboring local mayor of Fontana an opportunity to come up and say a few words. Who's that? People ask for you. They want to know that popular demand from Lock High.
Well, that's because you all did so much hating on me last year. Is Mama here? Thank God. She never got over that.
My mother didn't come this way.
No, last year we really had a good time, and we knew we would have another good time this year. And I understand you had to turn people away, so that just lets you know this is growing and growing. And I encourage Deborah to make sure she has it in a larger facility, because we cannot afford to turn away any women that need to know what we were told today. I bring you greetings from Fontana, and I'd like to just tell all you women that the fight is just starting. Okay? We have to continue to work hard to make sure that we ourselves are healthy, and that our man is healthy, and that those children we have are healthy, and more importantly, that our community is healthy. So, with that said, we have Healthy Fontana, and we have our website, www.fontana.org. But I am so blessed that we don't have borders in our community, that actually we're regional. And so whenever we can come and assist in your efforts throughout this town, throughout San Bernardino, throughout Colton, Montclair, Ontario, San Bernardino again, anything we can do to help, just let me know. Because we cannot afford as a region to worry about where we stop and go, because the problems here are the problems we have over in Fontana too. So thank you all.
Thank you. Mayor, could I get you to close with before we close, and I've asked the mayor to lead us in prayer as we close, I would also encourage you, when you go out into the foyer, please stop, see the information booths, but also stop by and see Carmen Palmer, Eddie P. It's a boutique. It's a woman-owned business, and I would encourage you to please take some time and look at her booth, her wares, the things available. And if you are not in the market today, please come back to Rialto and shop at Eddie P's. It's a wonderful, wonderful boutique. Thank you.
Thank you. One of the things I laughed 2 weeks ago.
Dr. Warren.
I laughed 2 weeks ago. I went to a program, and the young man that introduced me, everybody that knows me personally knows that when it comes to mischief, I'm going to get in it. I mean, it's just going to happen. And he introduced me, and the first thing he said is, you all may know her as Mayor Warren, but I know her as Dr. Warren in theology. But more importantly, I know her as the lady wearing sunglasses and a baseball hat over at the roller rink skating with the kids. Those kids almost had a fit when I showed up one Saturday and put on my skates and started skating with them. They didn't know who I was. And then one of them looked at me and said, you know, you look just like our mayor. But one of the things I really think that because we're all community partners, we may not be in the same party, we may not even be the same nationality, we may not live in the same city, but we all have to be really careful about how we carry ourselves and what we say and what we do, because I can speak from evidence that somebody is always watching us. And so one of the things, when you come to the Lord and you say, I want to do prayer, and you tell him what you want, you have to also keep in mind that he knows what you want. But I believe very strongly that a quiet mouth just don't get fed. It doesn't happen. And I believe that there's tradition, there's respect for everything. So what I would ask is that we all stand and hold hands, because we can't control what happens when we leave these doors, but he can. And we just always need to know that he has us covered. And plus, when you leave in good spirits, when you come back together, you're still in good spirits, believe that or not. And we're not sure what everybody dealt with this morning when they left, or what they had to deal with last night, but hopefully they can have this few seconds of peace and serenity. Please join me and bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the organizers of this event today. They thought enough of us to include us, to make sure that we could learn more about what you want us to do in our community. We need to bring that same love and serenity to our homes, because our children need this information as well as our spouses. We need to be that light that others look at and provide knowledge to those that need it. We need to go out of our way to make sure those that we see humbly on our streets get the same concern